was thinking about the interracial dating, John. I
Yeah.
know we once talked about this, but I feel like the anger goes both ways, meaning there's a specific group of black men that are mad at black women for dating outside the race, and there's a specific group of black women that are mad at black men um, dating outside their race, and then there's people like me that don't give a fuck who people date.
Right. Like I just don't understand why people be so mad. Like
So let me say one
watching it.
thing. Go
I
ahead.
don't know why people need an approval from or why people feel like their opinion about who you date matters. I mean, and we did speak about this before about like how some people are like, I'm a purposely date uh Caucasian people because I want my kids to be mixed or
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like hearing that dumb shit.
yeah, that stuff is annoying, but it's like whatever. You hear you like whatever, have your mixed kids, like why you gotta who cares? Have your mixed kids. Like the fuck.
Right.
That's
Then you
just
have
self-hate,
the
yo.
fetish type of thing about it where people would just have like a fetish of um liking the other race, like that's just their fetish, like they just like it.
Yeah.
And then you have the people that are like Bad Baby, whatever her crap, what the hell's her name is, Bad Barbie.
I know you're talking about the white girl that
They just
Catch Me Outside girl.
denial that yo, you're white. Like it doesn't freaking matter. You're white. Like why are you trying so hard to like that picture I showed you about the person that said looked like Benjamin Franklin with the
Oh yeah, I remember.
braids.
Right.
Like we're not saying that Caucasian and other races can't wear braids, but that whole like trying I can't really call it still in the culture. It's not still in the culture because at the end of the day we're still gonna be black. It's just something about the way their attitudes are when they have a certain thing on them, like or when when they get a 10, they're like, oh yeah, I'm like, you're still white.
See, for me, like the Bad Baby John, like she get a minor exception, just understanding what it's like growing up in Philly, where the small group of white people that grow up around black people act
They
like,
black.
however, they black for real.
They black.
So
Yeah.
in her case, if that's her true reality, she
Mhm.
shouldn't defame who she is or like denounce who she is. But you get what I'm saying? Culturally, I do understand. You get what I'm saying? Like I seen a white boy today that just had everything going on with him, just looked like a regular Philly bull as I know it, but his skin color was different. But obviously he's from a certain area, so he speaks differently.
Mhm.
So if he got cousins in the suburbs, they don't understand his life. They don't relate to him the same way. He grew up here, this is what he's used to, this is who he is. I don't feel like you gotta go out your way. I definitely appreciate people that own who they are. You feel me? Like I don't know if y'all know this, but like in the suburbs, white people dropping the N-word like they might
that
so much.
I can't rock with that shit though.
You feel me? I know I'm kind of drifting a little bit, but it's just like.
Do you feel like saying nigger and nigga is two different things, or are they still the same?
They definitely two different things.
Nigger. Nigger is degrading, is disrespectful, is like you're targeting, you know, a certain race. And then when you say nigga, it could be in our terms we call dude, man, that nigga get on my nerves, a dude. Or you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like John, but it's like nigga is like that we'll call guys nigga, black, white, orange, whatever. And then there's nigger. You nigger. Like it's more degrading when you say nigger than when you say nigga. And it's basically like I don't know. It's in
I'm not gonna say they mean everyone means harm, but it's a little bit of like common sense. Like where's your common sense to know right from wrong? Like you shouldn't be saying this. You feel me? And one thing I do notice is a lot of white people from the city don't say it. So people that you get what I'm saying? People that have the proximity don't say it. People without the proximity. I'll give you an example. I jumped on a girl Instagram live, a white girl that's from the suburbs, and somebody else jumped on her live, another white dude, most likely from the suburbs. And the first thing he said was like, "Yo, my nigga." Like people don't even say that in Pennsylvania. So I get it, but it's just like I'm not gonna get that to stand. They shouldn't have a stand to say that.
So with me is, so it's a little bit of with that word, right? There's a little bit of history to that word, and the reason why, the history is the reason why we're using it in that enduring sense, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember what that word originally meant
For
and
sure.
how it became a injected into our culture, right? Because so it's still at the heart of it, it's still a negative word. Let's not act like it's still not a negative word. At the heart of it, it's still a negative word. Because when you use that word, so that word is still associated to Black people in the sense that, because if that word meant nothing, white people would be able to use it.
Yeah.
The fact that white people can't say it means that it's still a bad word that means what it means. You know what I mean? Whether you use it in a enduring way or not, the fact that white people can't use it and certain other people can't use it tells you that it's still a bad word.
For sure. And then it's
So
especially
that's
how he used it.
so, and yeah, that still plays a part with it, and it's definitely still like, okay, ER versus A. Yes, it's still a difference, but at the same time, the origination of that word, the fact that that word even exists, is so negative that you can't ever make it positive.
No, for real. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to add to that, to make it brief. I'm gonna say how they used with an ED, like how they used it back then. It's like white people, there's no recovery from what y'all did. So y'all could never get approval to say this. But number two is the only reason I don't, like, me personally, me knowing better and really understanding the root cause of the word and the root of even us technically probably shouldn't be transitioning to something endearing, is that I understand the level of ignorance that's out there. So it helps me accept what's going on. It's like, if you don't know no better, you don't know no better. But if you don't know no better and you see it in a bad way, then this issue, I'll give you an example. If you're Black and you don't really understand the word nigga, but you only use nigga, like, yo, this nigga, like, is only used for you in a negative way, then to me, that's really a problem. And if there's no exceptions for white people. If you white, you shouldn't say nigga. So I'm not even gonna go into details with that. But my problem is when it comes to us, if we don't really understand the root of the word, and then I feel like it shows how we speak about the word is subconsciously revealed based off how we consistently use it. Are we only using it like in a negative way? Like, yo, I hate these niggas.
Not only,
like, I hate niggas.
I wouldn't say only, but majority of the usage of it is a negative connotation. It's negative. When you're happy, you don't usually say. I guess when you say yo, that's my nigga, yo, or yo, nigga, what's going on? You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's always to just say something like that nigga, or nigga, or nigga. You know what I mean? It's like it's usually you know what I mean? It's usually some negative ass, like it's usually a very like angry way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what does that say to you? That word is an angry word, yo.
Yeah. No, I feel that. It's not like it's not a good word. I just know, like, sometimes you can be big, like joking around, and then you just casually using, like, man, these niggas is crazy, like, and then you not. That's why I say, like, one thing, because I was watching a video and I seen somebody get offended that was Black from another Black person saying nigga to him, and it started to make me think how I use the word. And this would make me even have this perspective, is like, you know what? Sometimes I could be ignorant to how I use it, but I always noticed that I always paid attention to how other people use it in their consistency. Is it consistently bad? Do you have a neutralness to it? Because no matter what, the reality is there's a lot of self-hate in the Black community. So you can see
that word is in the middle of it.
Yeah, and then that word is going
in the middle of the self-hate.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of it.
I heard in the last few years, I never heard this so much. Maybe I wasn't always so aware, but I haven't heard, like, yo, this is why I hate niggas, yo. Like, you hear that, like,
yo, even I've said it before, and I'll be honest. Sometimes, you know what I mean? That's just how we used to talk back in the day. Like whenever you see some dumb shit, you be like, niggas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in your mind, you're like, that's just niggas, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see, you know how that's some negatives. That's real negative. The way to think, like,
negative.
You know what I mean?
But like I was just shedding light on the difference of nigger and nigga.
No, I definitely feel that.
They're still both negative, but when you addressing someone as a nigger, it's more like, okay, now you on some racial shit. But when you nigga, it's still negative, but it's more so like you're just
it's less intense.
Yeah, it's less intense, but it's still
less,
negative.
Yeah. So it's like the lesser of both evils. Like it's both bad, but ER is harsher than A.
I was called a nigger on a video game recently, and I just told that person like you was a bitch. Like you can follow me on Instagram. I gave
on PlayStation. I thought that was an Xbox thing.
Yeah, because they lost. You feel me? There's a couple people tried it, and I had to shut it down. Like as soon as I get on the Call of Duty, it's like, yo,
Oh, you play these games against other people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I play online. So some people you just gotta shut them down. But the one person, he was so mad he lost. He just kept dropping it, and then he was just mad. And I'm just like, you a bitch. Like follow me on Instagram, like, and if I find you, I'm gonna smack the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to know that they can't use that word. But
guarantee you, it was like a 15, 12-year-old online.
Probably like 18-year-old. Wasn't too young. But another thing I'm gonna say is to get back to the main joint we started with is like the attitude is the most time I even care about the subject of interracial dating. To summarize that, if you got that attitude like, yeah, I don't talk to black guys, then it's just like, damn, I don't feel like you should think like that, but I also don't want to change how you think. It is what it is. You think how you think, it is what it is.
I was talking to Joe, what was it, yesterday, and I was saying, it's not like I date any race as long as I'm attracted to you, and you know I don't see color like that. But like I don't see color to the point where I put every single African American person in the same category. But I can say, based off of my experiences with people in this specific area, it might not be all over the world, but in this specific area, there is a difference from my experience dating a certain type of group of people versus another certain type of group of people. Like the respect is not the same. But so I'm not gonna say
what I would argue is not necessarily race, but area or.
And I'm not talking about like hood dudes. I'm talking about successful, every level of that. You understand what I'm saying? Like I have a friend, she don't talk to any type of African American dudes. Like she literally, no, I'm not talking to no African American dudes. I'm tired of them, all that stuff. Now, let's say an African American dude hits her up or want to talk to her and he's respectful. She's not going to be like, oh, you're African American. She'll talk to him, but once that level of that similarity or whatever, that trigger point that reminds her of her past experiences to come back, she has that like, nah, I'm good type of vibe.
What I can say is, me personally, I have a little issue if there's a preconceived notion. Now, me personally, I have preconceived notions, but it's kind of set for me. Like, I'm not going to say I lock myself in, but I kind of understand like what I want or what I would like to have. So I create a notion for myself so I can keep myself in the box where it's like kind of purposely done. But if it's unconsciously done and it's a preconceived notion about, well, he black, he look like this, or he's white, he could be this. And if you already kind of trying to give a person an identification and you already like subconsciously going into that, you're probably going to pull that out more than that person already has that. I'll give you an example. You most likely experience a lot of situations where you deal with people with preconceived notions and they have a mindset of who you are. And to me, that's more of a character defect versus like it being a problem with a group of people. Like that's your character issue. You have this character issue. Technically, when it comes to white girls, I might have a character issue because I already set in my mind, like, I don't really want to mate with white people. Nothing against them. You feel me? It's just not my preference. So I kind of have a little character defect in that way. But a lot of people have the same type of defect and they don't understand what they're doing. Or to me, I believe in the law of attraction on every level, so they don't understand what they may be attracting. You know, so a man could do that to you. Like, black women are like this. You feel me? And you run into that type of person and he's saying that to you in so many ways without directly saying it to you, but he says it to you in how he acts, how he carries himself.
Yeah, so prejudice, having prejudice, when someone has a prejudice, they walk into every experience with that thing that person they have prejudice with.
It's a cloud on their head.
They just walking with that. They walk with that lens, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for something more often than you would with. So, for instance, I would say when you do that, you're a little less tolerant.
Yeah.
I don't know if tolerance is the best word to use, but you're a little less tolerant than with other races because you walk in already thinking like, oh,
I just feel like
watch this person be this way, and the next thing you know, you're just looking for that person to be that way.
With me, is more like a characteristic that all men have, like the ones that can accept when you are not interested and keep it moving. Cool. Then there's the ones that when you're not interested, they get aggressive and they want to attack you or they want to make you feel like you need to feel bad for not being interested. I hate that type. It could be any race that's like that. I just don't. That's the type that turns me off, of course. But I don't really have a problem with African American people. But if I can tell you that I've been recently on a trail of trying to find a specifically African American person, I'm not looking for a specific African or Caucasian or whatever person to be a specific color. Like, I don't care about that. Me is more so like our connection. It's not like I don't care about the race, but if you're disrespectful to me, I'm not going to acknowledge you just because you're African American and you're disrespectful to me. I got to give you more credit because I'm African American too. Like, no.
I feel that.
So, yeah, no.
Like, I'm not doing that. So,
and that's real.
Like a lot of people feel like, oh, well, you know, just whatever. Like, I don't dwell on things like that, but I'm not going to accept it from you just because we're the same race. That's not how I go.
Yeah. That's real. The only I don't have a problem with any of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, the only problem I have with that, and then I guess we kind of touched up on it. As long as you're not bad mouthing, you can have your preference. Everybody has a preference. You know what I mean? But I think it's unfair to just sit there and say black men this, black men that, Chinese people this, Chinese people that. You know what I mean? That's when it gets to negative. Like, you could be like, all right, I date this race, but when you're doing a more of a negative than a positive, that's when I have a problem. You could say, you can say whatever you want, but I take offense more to people that say I don't date black men than people that just say I date white men.
Yeah, and I was sometimes it's about your sensitivity level, you know.
Because to me, that's just
everybody have their own type. I don't get offended at all.
Yeah.
When I see biracial couples, whether you're a black guy with a white or Spanish or Asian or whatever, Indian, and then you're a black woman or whatever the case is, I don't care as long as you're happy.
Right, and that's why I really feel like you like ignorant to even have a judgment on somebody else's happiness or their disdain. It's just like you don't know what they got going on.
It's because I see it a lot on Twitter. Like, a lot of people, like, even though the person just want to, it's like racism is coming back stronger than it's ever been. Just because some guy was being attacked because he got his now I know what it was. I remember some girl was like, it was two incidents. One girl was like, oh, she made a TikTok. I don't know if y'all seen it. She made a TikTok saying something about she's having a baby, and then she had like a thing that showed or said that the dad is gonna be black and she's white, so she's gonna be raising a black kid or something. And then people were just like, "No, you're not raising a black kid. Like your kid is mixed or whatever." And it just became like a whole thing. And then there was another. It was crazy. I mean, what she said, she didn't need to say that. But she said,
that's what I was about to say. What's the context of her saying that?
I don't know.
Was someone asking like, how is it to?
It was a TikTok. It was one of those question TikToks when they're like have like those things and they're like a question this and then a question that, and then she was like rubbing on her stomach and she was just like, well, she's having a black child or something like that.
That to me make it seem like in that person's mind, the first thing they think of is black. They don't even think as a kid. And that's the problem I have with it. It's like I read people. I try to read people's mindset to see what it is you're fixated on. Yeah. If you're fixated on race, then you know what I mean. Yeah. Then I have an issue like, yo, this person. The first thing they see whenever they look at people is race because that's what they first.
Or that might be their insecurity or what they feel guilty about, so they got to stick their chest out for it. Like, what if she come from that family that don't want her to have that? So she might feel like she has to have a certain level of pride in what it is she like. It's just like it's like a rebellious trait. I mean, you know? That could be a possibility as well. One thing I'm gonna say is the reason I'm not mad at any of it too is like a lot of people, they're gonna build their prejudice or preconceived notion based off of their experiences, and I feel like that's valid. You feel me? But it kind of closes your spirit if you be fixated on these perspectives of who a person is before even getting to know. You feel me? And that's why I look at it like it's more of like a character defect because you're not giving yourself or a person a chance. Like, cause there's some people, to go a little bit to what Lou said, like sometimes black man or black woman or Caucasian man, Caucasian woman, they might not approach you how you want them to, any type of race, but some people just small things they don't know no better than. They don't know no better in this way, or this is all they know. You feel me? My biggest thing with any dating or meeting a person is like, who are you at your core type joint? You feel me?
But at the same time with that though, let me say something about that. There's also multiple ways to do things, right? Just because, let's say black men approach women this way and white men approach women this way, doesn't mean that the way the one or the other does it is wrong.
Right.
You may not like how they do it, and that's fair. You know what I mean? You like what you like, but you can't just automatically say, "Oh, they do it this way. I don't like them." You know, I don't like them because you know what I mean? Like it may be to you it's a bad way, but some people might actually like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like the younger me would close off or keep who I really am in the box. And I would kind of just try to fit in with how I approach a lot of women. But realistically, I know I could, expand myself much more till I start to feel like, why am I even taking this approach? And like, I don't even feel like I'm getting results from this approach. So over time, like, let me just be myself. And if they accept me, they accept me. They don't, they're not for me. Like, they're for someone else. They don't. But I initially went by like what I seen. So I can relate to, speaking to a woman in a certain way or even just engaging with her in a certain way, just based off of how I seen other women accept or me thinking like, well, she most likely might like this, having that preconceived notion, not being locked in on like, all right, where more so now I'm like, all right, this is who I am. I'm going to try to overly express who I am. Hopefully I'll get the same from the other person, but once I feel the vibe that I'm not feeling the person, I'm cool. I'm cool off of you.
It's more of a personality thing.
Yeah. Where initially it used to be like me, like, damn, like she's beautiful. I'm like, what's up, shorty? Or like, I'm trying to do what I always see type of thing. I guess this is working versus like how I really would just feel. And then I feel like I'm just easier to tap in with how I feel about shit. Yeah.
But I do like what you said earlier about when it comes to like people with well, how about this? So one thing I would say is everyone has built-in stereotypes of other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the major thing I would say that would be, so people should really think about, because everyone has stereotypes. Just make sure you understand, like, just because you have a stereotype of a group of people, whether it's race, sex, orientation, whatever, understand that everyone is not the same. So you might have a stereotype of just one person, but remember that, okay, yeah, people are different. So, you know what I mean?
Everyone is different.
So give someone a chance as far as like before already putting them in a box. Give them a chance.
Right. Everyone.
Because when people walk around just stereotyping and making decisions off a stereotype, you might lose up on a lot of stuff that could have been positive for you.
Mm-hmm.
All because of your prejudice, you prejudging people.
One of the biggest ways I see it, if I can find a good in person, I just remember that everybody was a baby once, and who they're showing is based off of some type of conditioning. I'm not gonna sit here and act like everybody is for my time, because some people you could see instantly like I'm not about to even waste time like even conversating with you. I'm gonna get out of this in the smoothest way as possible. But then it's people that's good people who just don't know how to be good people.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, just really pay attention to personality, not what you see, or you know what I mean. Really, just personality. Really.
I would just
that everybody has their type or something that attracts them, and you know, everyone is not attracted to black men. Everyone is not attracted to black men.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
You know,
and vice versa.
I used to date somebody that was super duper deep into Hispanic women. Not gonna mention his name, but he was super duper deep into Spanish women. He told it to me once, and I was like, "Well, then why are you with me? Like, if you like Spanish women so much." And then boom, he's married to a Spanish woman right now.
Sometimes it's a phase though. Sometimes it's a phase because I went through that phase. I went through a phase where I like was enthralled by like Dominican women. Just it's sometimes
some of that is Philly though.
Yeah.
Especially our neighborhood where we grew up. Yeah. You remember? So when I was a kid, I remember like at one point as a kid, I used to be like, "Yo, like all the girls, they seem like they only want Puerto Rican dudes." Like there was a time in Creighton, you remember?
Mm-hmm.
In Creighton, Puerto Rican dudes was the thing.
I'm dead.
So at one point, I was like, I had this little bit of self-hate as a kid, like at that point. Wow. I'm sitting there like, yo, like, so I got to be Puerto Rican to you know what I mean? Like it just it's kind of messed up.
I would say I would definitely.
That was like the exotic.
Yeah,
I would, for them at that time. I think that's what it is.
I don't know why I was privy to this, but I went through a phase where I did like Spanish girls, but it was like I never felt like, because most likely I didn't understand that this was self-hate, but I wasn't willing enough to hate myself. And it was a lot of like just growing up, being the youngest, hearing stories about like, you know, Haitian booty scratcher and stuff like that.
Yeah, that shit, yeah.
People, meeting a lot of people that was Haitian. No, real rap. Like,
why did y'all react like that? You was like, oh yeah.
I'm saying, meeting a lot of people that was Haitian in school.
That was New York. That wasn't Philly. That was
yes, it was.
But I'm saying it was.
I ain't never get that in Philly.
I didn't either, but I'm just saying, to make a long story short, though, a lot of people was like, I used to meet a lot of Haitians in Philly that didn't really want to claim they Haitian. You feel me?
Yeah, there was a lot of people. We got family that was like that.
And as a young kid, that always made me have some like level of Haitian pride. So I didn't understand self-hate, but I could see like, you know, a black girl clinging on to a Rican boy because like his hair is different, and I didn't like. I loved myself, so it was like, you feel me? I did want my hair certain types of ways when I was probably like in the 6th grade and I first got a curly top. I'm like, yeah, I want my shit curly, like curlier type of joint. But other than that, it was no like, you feel me? I don't know. Black girls always caught my attention though. I don't know. There's something about them.
Yeah. For me, like you said earlier, it's always been like, but it's always been like.
I don't think being
black women, right?
Race is self-hate. That's what a lot of people were saying under those comments. With this guy that was with this white girl, and he was like cherishing her or whatever. It was a bunch of people like, you wouldn't treat a black woman like that. And I was just like, how do you know he wouldn't treat a black woman like that?
Right.
That's not what he's into. If he's not attracted to somebody, he's not gonna treat them a way that he would treat whatever he's attracted to.
Right.
I don't think that it's self-hate though.
No. I'm saying that with self-hate is the attitude, and you don't know the attitude unless you know the person or you hear them speak. That's when you get a hint of self-hate. But I can't see a interracial couple and be like, he's with that white girl with blonde hair, blue eyes, and she country, and he from the hood. I still can't instantly say it's self-hate.
Yeah.
You feel me? I still can't just see that it's a polar opposite of him and think it's self-hate. But when I see him open his mouth and say like, "Are you black bitch? You like a donkey monkey anyway?" I don't know. And you got a white girl, and you consistently have white girls. Okay, it might be a little self-hate there. You know, that's when you could see it, but you can't see it just looking. That's judgmental. You feel me? But you can have good discernment if the person is speaking and they kind of let you know how they feel with their words. You know, it ain't hard to see what's really going on. That's how I feel, at least.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of it is being taught. A lot of it is taught. A lot of it is like, see, look, see, told you black people are bad. See, look, told you Indians are this. See, I feel like a lot of it is just like, it's constantly throwing in your face all these stereotypes.
And to me, a lot of people get offended by stuff like that. I don't, because I don't get offended by things that's not the truth. So if somebody like, I could see that their attitude is XYZ, it probably comes from being in customer service, like where I deal with a lot of privileged people. You know, I might be helping somebody, and somebody privileged might walk up and might just cut off the conversation. And I know they unconsciously are being super privileged right now. They don't even notice what they're doing. They don't, because they're most likely not a bad person. They're just so privileged that people are beneath them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, real quick, I need to do this on my phone. Oh, so I didn't even notice you was talking about, real quick, I need to do this on my phone. No, you gotta wait a second. I'm helping this person. As soon as I'm done, I can talk to you, type of thing. So, you know, I deal with them vibes, so I just know some people, they just in their ways.
Yeah,